supernova captured on video at the perfect place at the right time, or some other secret Space Force program like you mentioned, Brent?
Yeah, again, the phenomenon keeps coming in, and the third phase moon is a conduit. This is a perfect example of the phenomenon taking place that people just don't know what's really going on in our skies, especially when we're pretty much concluding that at the end, this isn't SpaceX. So we're just asking ourselves, what is this? Earlier, not too long ago, we had other submission to third phase moon. That example, it looks exactly the same.
It's a blue orb or some shit.
So again, a lot of explicit language tonight, but when people see something strange in the sky, you can't blame them. But again, further proof right here at Third Phase Moon, the archive is vast. We went back and found this one, and it looks exactly like what happened just a couple days ago across the planet. And again, this had nothing to do with SpaceX as well. So the mystery is abound with regards to what's going on above our heads on a nightly and daily basis, 24/7. And Brent found this video just earlier today of what I thought could have been a drone, but after looking at the flight characteristics, I'm thinking different. Watch this.
Look at that. I don't even know what to think about this. I've been looking out for it for a while. Oh.
Another genuine UFO video, and we're looking at it. No manipulation, just like what we tell you right here. We'll call it like we see it in the videos we're sharing with you tonight. No CGI, guys. Just hit that thumbs up. We're looking for authentic UFO videos. Again, I turned up the audio to see if I could hear any kind of evidence of prop propeller blades. I didn't hear it. Something is up there, and it's moving at a kind of a rate of speed, and its characteristics of its angles and its flight pattern is very fluid.
Yeah, Blake, this thing seems deviant. It's erratic. It's just doing these abnormal maneuvers, just kind of darting in and out of the clouds, and it's doing a pulsating of light with a green glow. You can see it just like tuck in behind the clouds there. Very cool. What's your thoughts?
You know, I've actually experienced this same UFO before in the exact same color. Actually, it actually pulsed white and then green, this exact same color. But the one I saw came down much closer, and it seemed like a ball of light, like a ball of light from the inside is just glowing. It doesn't really look like there's an object in the middle of it. It's just a ball of light. And you know, I did a lot of research into it because I saw it. I wanted to know what it was. And from my research, there's these things called balls of plasma that can come up out of electrically charged areas. Or like another thing that they've been called is plasmoids. So I definitely recommend checking that out. I think that's what this is.
You know, your guess is good as mine, Paula, and it's interesting. If this could be a possible static electricity, a plasmic phenomenon, or maybe, dare I say, a biological life form. It's just hard to say, but look at that. It disappeared right behind the cloud line.
My name is Richard Gonsalves. I grew up in northern Arizona. I've been looking at the petroglyphs my whole life, and recently I became friends with John Rushcamp. He wrote a book on ancient Chinese writing in the petroglyphs, and between the two of us we've been out looking for petroglyphs, and we've identified over 200 ancient Chinese script. To explain that, what we're finding is what's known as oracle bone, which is the oldest form of Chinese writing. They discovered scapulary and cranial bones in China in 1899, but nobody could read them. And they slowly have been able to translate them. They still offer a reward if you can translate one of the scripts. Through the ages, when a new emperor came in, he'd gather the scribes together and tell them to standardize and simplify, because not everybody could read each other's writing. And then after they did that, they would translate the old texts and destroy them. That way it made a cutoff between the old writing system and the new system. And by doing that, they're datable. They have a date. Well, these bones could be dated back 3,000 years. And so if we find any petroglyphs that match some of these old Chinese scripts, that dates them to 3,000 years ago. You know, you have to scope out the whole thing, trying to find some of the interesting petroglyphs, some of the, see if you can discern what some of them are. This one is kind of a clown, court jester. I'm not sure whether it's a female giving birth or possibly just a phallus on it. Usually if they're female, they'll have hair whirls, where this one has kind of a clown's floppy ears. There's another one here behind me, basically the same thing. And some large footprints. I have found a spiral with a wavy line that's underneath of a coyote, and that is the sound of the coyote. And here is the Chinese script next to it, kind of an H-shaped figure that means musical tone. So it does match and tells you what the sound of the coyote is. The Hopis have something called fifth mesa, and there's an hourglass shape that means fifth, and it's next to the fifth mesa. But you know, that's kind of a stretch to somebody that doesn't know what's going on. I believe that the Chinese came on an expedition. They didn't come here to immigrate, they didn't come to conquer. They only came to explore and then go back to China because that was their homeland. And they came across an old Indian trade route, which is along Route 66. And that's where we are finding most of these Chinese scripts, is only along Route 66. Well, originally I met John Rushcamp. He was giving a talk on this. And I went up to tell him he was full of bull, that there are no Chinese scripts here. And as I was listening to him, it started making sense. And to me, it wasn't supposed to. But he and I became very good friends, and we've been going out for several years now and have found some exact proof that there are Chinese script.
So, looking at this evidence, Richard Gonsalves makes quite ironic points here. You look at the petroglyphs alongside some of the Chinese art, and it matches up perfectly. If he could date these to be authentic, he's onto something here.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We're in Sholo, and then we met up with Richard. That same day, we went out on this little hunt, and it took a while to find this location. And finally, Richard, we found it. X marks the spot. What we're looking at pretty much fascinated us because he did bring in the points where you could see the petroglyphs that clearly match Chinese writing that clearly show up in the Americas in Arizona. And this man has been the one to break this down. Is he onto something that's historical?
Yeah, I met Richard a few years ago, and he took me on a crazy adventure through the canyons in this area near Sholo and Snowflake, Arizona. And what's interesting is, besides just the information of these early Chinese possibly being here way sooner than we thought possible, what's also really fascinating is just the area that they appear in. There aren't just the Chinese glyphs, but also some really incredible glyphs that seem to be almost ancient alien in nature. So what's also really interesting is Snowflake, Arizona is where Travis Walton's case happened, where he was abducted, and it's all in the same general area. So there's something going on there. I think it's a very highly charged part of America, in a very fascinating place for sure. It was really great to meet up with him again and be able to experience this new location in Sholo that I did not see before. It was a very exclusive location, actually. I don't think many people knew about it.
Yeah, we were looking for it for about 2 hours, and we finally came upon this location, and it was great. And the evidence that Richard brings is quite compelling, and the energy in the area, you could feel it. The Indians may have carved this, but could they have been taught by Chinese? I don't know. They just match up perfectly. Look at that. Take a pause and do your own investigation. And speaking of energy, you got to check out Shaman Spear's Paula Asteria's art.
You've felt it, haven't you? The energy around you, pulsing with potential. But sometimes you need a bridge, a way to tap into that power. Introducing Shaman Spears. These handcrafted energy channeling devices are more than tools, they're extensions of yourself. Each bamboo staff is meticulously filled with magnetic and quartz materials designed to amplify your own energy. The sacred symbols passed down through generations act as a conduit, focusing your intentions. Shaman Spears. Not just a wand, not just a spear, but an ancient future fusion. Feel the power course through you. Unleash your potential. Visit www.shamanspears.com and claim your Shaman Spear today.
So tell us about these Shaman Spears, Apollo.
Yeah, well, I've been basically making them for about 10 years now, and it's sort of like an invention, like technology. I actually fill the insides with quartz and magnets and copper coils and sand I collect from around the world, naturally magnetic hematite sand. So it actually works as like an orgonite device where it ionizes the energy around it. It's actually really interesting the way that all these materials work, and it could actually really be like almost like a orgonite cloudbuster lightning rod type device, really. That's how it works. So it's also just kind of for fun. It's like art. It's like the idea of mixing ancient civilizations and the future together, in my opinion. So I have a lot of fun with it.
And where do people order these? I know you have made hundreds of these.
Oh yeah, I've definitely made hundreds over the years. It's pretty crazy. Some people joke that I'm building an army, but yeah, you just go to shamanspears.com and all my latest collections are available. I do next day shippings on all orders, and anyone who gets one, I get them a scroll that kind of talks about what it means to have one. It looks like a little ancient scroll, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I never make any the same. They're all 100% unique, and they make great gifts.
Yeah, so this scroll, we're going to roll it here. People could get the spear and a scroll at the same time. And then what do they do with the spear, Paula, when they go out there?
Well, my favorite thing to do with them is go hiking with them. I do that all the time. It's just kind of like, oh, and there's a scroll right there. So that's what you would get with them. But basically, it's like an extension of yourself, as I say in the commercial. It's kind of like a way of sort of working with your own energy, and it's really fun to dance with too at festivals, or even just hang up in your home as a centerpiece.
Very cool. Now, again, we've come out with the comic Battle for Disclosure. Take a look.
Here in Washington, it's 3 p.m. We're following a developing story. Could the military patrol the streets?
Well, you don't just have $2, $3, $10 trillion vanish.
We've given so far $171 billion.
Most of the work being done on this are private corporations. Call this a hybrid entity that's neither strictly government nor strictly private. If these are extraterrestrials or real, and they're getting here from another star system, they're not using 20th century or early 21st century technology. People at the CIA call it WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic.
That's right. Battle for Disclosure and Battle for Disclosure, the second issue, Air Force One Down, is available right now on Amazon Kindle. Take a look. You will be amazed on how closely this parallels what's going on right now around our world. If you've captured anything amazing, submit it to us right here at Third Phase of Moon. My contact email is in the description. We'll see you next time.
Over and out.
We'll catch you next time.